We are going to move on to our C-suite panel, The Rise of Agentic AI. So we are diving into a bold frontier, Agentic AI, think autonomy, accountability, and the next-gen decision-making. Our panelists today are pushing the boundaries of how AI thinks for itself. So please join me on welcoming our power-packed panelists on stage. I would like to welcome Eugene, Global Chief Data Scientist, Manulife. Shanawaz Janmohamed, Analytics Director, Function Group Analytics. Tudor Morosan, PhD and co-founder and CTO, CRE-X Markets, and former Chief and Data Analytics Officer. Fatih Nayebi, VP Data and AI, ALDO, who has recently published a book, Foundations of Agentic AI for Retail, Concepts, Technologies, and Architectures for Autonomous Retail Systems, which was released on May 5th, 2025. So if you want to know more about the book or you want to learn more, you can reach out to him after the panel session. And this panel is going to be moderated by yours truly, Neha Balucha. Let's give our panelists a big round of applause. Lovely. I am very honored and very happy to have all of you here, and Agentic AI is on everyone's mind. So I'm going to just pass it on and ask each of you to briefly introduce yourselves, and in your words, how would you define Agentic AI? Eugene, let's start with you.
Agentic AI, in my mind, is for an AI solution. It has its own agency, can make judgment call, make decisions in a less clear defined context, can take actions with interaction and with safety around. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Sean. I'm from Function Group Analytics, Analytics Director there. In the work that we do, Agentic AI really is about moving from decision support based models to decision making. So really creating an automated process and automating pieces and components of that process to be able to take away the human intervention and within a certain set of conditions and boundaries, but really sort of automating that entire process.
Oh, that's me?
Yes.
So Tudor Morosan, co-founder and CTO in CRE-X Markets. So when it comes to Agentic AI, I'm going to say something bold. You know, I can say it's the buzzword of the year 2025. I can say it's an entity with 5 features, whatever, but I'm going to say that in my mind, Agentic AI is a turning point in the history of human-AI collaboration. That's what I'm going to say.
I love that.
Amazing. I can't go even bolder, I'm not sure. But like a short answer is that you think about a loop, just a loop. Within that loop, there is an agency, means that it can actually use tools and can make things happen. So that's the short answer to the Agentic AI. This is not a new term. We've been talking about AI for many years, and AI agents are also not new. But we didn't have large language models to be able to make them such that they're intelligent enough. We needed to define all the rules. We needed to actually create loops by ourselves that were predetermined, but now using large language models and techniques such as React, which is reasoning and also acting, we're able to leverage that intelligence to make things possible. They're also good because they can actually learn, they can adapt, they can change. And I think everything is going to change. The way that we interact with computers is going to change, of course. But also, all the processes, all the organizations, all the softwares, everything is going to change. And we are going through a huge revolution, I would say.
Yeah,
Am I bolder?
You are close. I can build on what you say. But
Bold and bolder. I love that. Well, I know this is on everyone's mind. Like, what are some of the most exciting use cases that you've encountered with Agentic AI? And just as important, what are some of the biggest challenges or failures you've faced, and what were the solutions you used? So again, I'm going to go back. I'm going to start with you, Fatih.
Yes.
So if you can.
Yeah, so there are a lot of challenges to solve. And I can start to talk about many of them in retail, for instance. You want to do good planning. You need to be able to do the right demand forecasting and also optimization. You need to follow the trends. You need to ensure that you can react to those trends and adjust yourselves. And what we do today, as with machine learning and the deep learning techniques, they are static. Although that they learn from the data, they're not capable of adapting themselves. You need to bring in like a dashboard or set of insights in front of humans, get their feedback, and then to be able to really adjust them. With Agentic AI, we are just turning the page. We are going to be making all of these AIs that they can adapt themselves. And I think the biggest use case right now for anything agentic or vibe coding is that actually start to use the coding techniques, start to build applications, and then try to disrupt all the existing SaaSes and so forth. There are a lot to talk about. Someone needs to stop me, but
absolutely.
let's leave it.
That was great. Tudor, what are your thoughts on that?
I'll take the microphone now from you, yeah?
All
Okay.
right.
So what is an AI agent, first of all, is my basic 5 feature. You might agree or not, but I'm trying to get them. So it's an entity, an AI entity, which, one, can talk with the big LLM, with a big smart entity out there, has a goal, an objective. That's important. Every AI agent has an objective and goal. Can work with tools, so whatever tools we can describe later on. Has a local memory, and can talk with other agents. So if you imagine this entity or many entities around the data, then you start building use cases. I can give an example of use cases from CRE, from commercial real estate market, but we can build. So one example would be, just imagine you have a client that has a lot of offices leasing there, buildings, industrial, commercial, this and that. And tons of, when I say tons, I mean hundreds, thousands of leasing agreements. Yes? So now you have this pool of data plus the financial data, and around you have a couple of agents, 4 or 5. I'm going to see probably 5. One is the parsing agent, an agent, I say somebody, but it's an agent. Yeah, it's an agent. Yeah, going inside and reading, transforming, processing this data. Then you have a financial agent, which looks inside, looks to the healthy of the information you have, the healthy of your deals. Then you have I should say like a risk agent. Stuff to look, okay, this guy is going to pay me the rent, they have problems or not, you know what I mean? And then you have probably a planning agent, a deal-making agent, you know what I mean? So these are the 4 agents. On top of them, you have the manager agent or the reporting agent, somebody who's getting information from all these guys and produces reports. It's a basic scenario, but it works, and it's a nice use case, I think I answered your question.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm curious what all my friends are going to say. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm actually going to take a step back because I think what we've found in the work that we do from startups to enterprise as well, I think the biggest challenge is as Lori mentioned, infrastructure and data. I think that tends to be a consistent theme across all the projects that we worked on, where AI it's a big deal. There's a lot of hype around it, and I think everybody wants to get to that end stage and implement AI immediately, but I think taking small steps and automating certain processes along the way is really how you get to that end result. So I think the challenge is really around infrastructure and data and making sure that you've got a good process to centralize that data, to data governance, data hygiene is all very, very important. One use case that we worked on is sort of retail gas pricing, where it was a very manual process, and each component of that, and in terms of getting collecting the prices from the competitors, getting that to the centralized location, and then pushing that down to the pump. Very, very manual. So along the way, we sort of implemented at each step an automated process to try and gather that data using market conditions, competitive factors, bringing that data together, centralizing it, and then pushing that in an automated way down to the pump as well. So that's, I think, sort of the use case where we sort of implemented that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Eugene?
And follow the same chain, but from different angle. in the context of a large financial enterprise is building Gen AI solution. What I found that the challenge for use cases are, we are kind of trying to let the agent make judgment calls, reasoning, and almost doing similar work. Humans usually trained, need a few years training to make that decision in that context. When we build solutions, I notice that actually humans, the human environment, are not actually ready for Gen AI yet. Take example, when we in the work, we make a lot of judgment calls, decisions, and we may not realize a lot of those judgment calls we made are not written anywhere. Even we have manuals, we have policies, as Laurie mentioned, there's a lot of policies in large enterprises, but that's not even sufficient enough. You want a agentic bot to take those, make judgment calls. There's a lot of written in people's mind, between the lines, implied. That part is the art part when we, whatever the professional, the title in the job, in our companies, in all the companies you have. And that part is the biggest challenge for implied, build agentic solution, really take the current judgment work capability to let the agents work on behalf of you. And as Tudor mentioned, interact with other agents for you, take actions with you or for you. In that case, the human environment, the work environment, documentation, all those knowledge base need to be very well documented, articulated, and structured in a very different format. Currently, many menus in our companies are PDF files or web-based files. None of them are JSON files, which is the best fitting for the agentic solution. Thank you.
Thank you. And actually, just building on top of that itself, like, how do we build trust and keep humans meaningfully involved as AI gains autonomy? So I'm going to actually start with Eugene, and then Tudor, and then Shan, and we'll go to you.
On that front, what I find it really works is not build, then you trying to get the trust from the humans. In this case, most of our solution so far has been internal facing, and you need the humans at the beginning. It's not the human of data scientists or machine learning engineers or data engineers. They are part of the traditional building team. You need the human who in the line of business, who are the solution going to be work supporting too closely or some degree on behalf of their function at the very beginning. And I can share more in the later, I have a session in the afternoon. Those ones are really earn the trust.
Absolutely.
People are not just don't trust anything. They are worried the same build for them. They are not involved. They don't know what's in it. That's where the distrust started.
Thank you. Tudor, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I will go from maybe a different, not angle, view. So thinking of financial industry, maybe cybersecurity, maybe this and that. Because the trust is different. You know, AI and AI agents are, in fact, statistical tools. You know, the problem they solve, or the way they solve the problems, are through statistical methods. That's inside, you know. So when you use statistical methods to give an answer, that has a sort of likelihood to be true, but a likelihood to be wrong. You know? So we're talking about 90%, 95%. You know, we solve a problem through AI. People like your customers usually are okay if you say, oh, you are going to solve this with 80% accuracy. 20% you will be wrong, but you know what? We are going to save so much time, so many hours. We are going to do something else. when you deploy the stuff there, and they say those 20%, they come with problems. You see, you miss this, you miss that. This is a little bit different than I expect. So you have this 20%, I say, fuzziness, which makes people don't trust. It makes people starting to say, oh, this is erroneous stuff. This is noisy. So then you are going to say that I'm going to use AI to take decisions, like which might impact your career, it might impact your work around. They are going to say, okay, but you're not able to give me 100% answer to that simple problem. Now you're going to get this. You see what I mean? So I think the trust is here. Having the proper use case, managing the expectations in a good way, to trust people, to make people trusting, first of all, the basic results coming from AI. That's my point, and it always was this point.
I love that. And Sean?
Yeah, I think that the human aspect really goes from hands-on and action-based to oversight. And I'll give you an example. We recently bought a grill from Costco, and the guy, the salesman told us, he's like, it's got the Wi-Fi capability. So he said, just trust the grill. So I think the idea behind that is that, I think what he was trying to say was that, on the app you can select whatever it is you're making, right? And you just let it, you set the temperature and you just let it do its thing. And I think that's the idea behind agentic AI and sort of human oversight, right? Is that you have to know, I think we go from actually doing the work to knowing how to use the technology and the bots. And so now I trust the grill, and I sort of just let it cook the chicken or the steak as it's supposed to, and open it only when it tells you to open it, because you know that the tool or the bot has been defined or sort of structured to be able to it's working within the confines of whatever it is you're building and you're delivering. So you know to trust it and sort of make a decision based off of that and oversee that it's delivering correctly. So.
Question.
Yes.
If once it will burn the chicken.
Then you got to reset. The boundaries weren't right, so you got to reset.
What we'll do the next time, yeah?
That's right.
Yeah, Eugene.
I like cook at home. So for the first time I buy the grill, I really want to know what's the procedure of the grill, how they cook. But just add one more thing for the trust. It's not the trust you have humans involved, and you give the trust. Actually, the solution need to earn the trust of all the users, regardless their title in the company they are. The reason to earn that trust is the design. The architect, and Laurie just mentioned earlier, is a key. It's not a solution you put trust on, and you put all the internal communications and all those campaign events say, oh, you trust this solution. It is show people they can be trustable. How you can be that? That you need to work with architects. That's why in all the companies, architect got the good pay. They earned the pay because in the design, you need to have not just the bot can generate the answer or generate a decision. And what we did is have another bot inside with the same solution, challenge that, and validate, and give a confidence score to that answer. In that case, the solution, even if there's a bad answer, the user will know that answer is bad. I can show more details later.
Yeah, no, thank you. And Fatih, what is your thought from a retail standpoint?
Yeah, I think the trust discussion is a very broad discussion.
Yeah.
And as human beings, when we trust something or some subject or some entity, we can have trust in one thing or not the other. So we need to think about the different types of AI that we're talking about. If we're talking about predictive models, and of course we're just talking about some number or some category coming out of that model, then if we have the right data and then we can do a pilot, we can look at the result, we can look at actually the accuracy of the model, then we can gain trust, right? So we can always start with the POC, we can show results, and then based on that, the users are going to get trust. If that's just a predictive model, just outputs and insights, and at the end of the day, there needs to be a human looking into those insights and make decisions. Now, the next frontier of the AI, and we're going through this mind shift, of course, is prescriptive AI, meaning that it needs to make decisions. As a human, would you, in fact, trust a decision that AI makes? But for which type of decisions? Do you want to be in the loop? And then, of course, we're getting into agentic AI, which is far beyond that. Actually, we're talking about an intelligent entity that can use prescriptive and predictive models as just a tool. So imagine that you have this reasoning engine that can make things happen, act on behalf of you. So would you trust that? Would you trust that it does something for you, buy maybe tickets for you, buy products for you, or even provide some very interesting types of health care related advices? So which AI we're talking about, first of all, and at the end of the day, this is happening. Like as a human being, when I'm looking at myself, I see people started to use a lot of large language models with an agentic or reasoning like engines behind the scene, and I see everyone started to trust them already, right? So how do we make such systems that are trustable, that they can act on behalf of us, is something that as a society we need to decide, but also we need to define it first to say, okay, what is trust and what type of AI we're talking about, what type of actions we're comfortable for AI to actually make. All of those decisions are interesting and important. And finally, just I want to say that there are techniques around explainability of the AI, looking inside what is happening actually, how this AI has been built from the interpretation and explainability perspective. But the more sophisticated the systems become, we need to let it go at some point in terms of, okay, I try to understand it, what happens inside the box. And the analogy could be like a microwave. I think every one of us uses microwave, but no one, maybe like very little of us, minority of us would know how a microwave has been built.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, and one thing I love about all your answers is that you're making it so relatable to our daily lives and everything that we face on a daily basis. And that's very exciting, and that helps all of us understand what we are actually dealing with on a large scale. So talking about that, actually, what's next for agentic AI? Like, what are the breakthroughs or the shifts that you think will define the future? Fatih, let's start with you, and then we can just go down panels.
So we talked a little about multi-agent approaches. We need to think about these agents as vertical agents that are very good at doing one thing, but they need to be able to collaborate. At times, they need to compete. They need to negotiate. As humans, the analogy is simple. As human beings, we work in different organizations or industries, and there are a lot of functions that we make happen. We can see these agents as such as well, but there needs to be mechanisms and protocols such that they can do this accordingly and efficiently. Examples of those protocols recently is MCP, Model Context Protocol from Anthropic, that makes it easier for the AI to use the tools, any type of tool. You have the agent-to-agent from Google that makes it easier to make agents talk to each other. You talk about AJUI, which is another protocol for just, if I want to build human-in-the-loop approaches with some UI, how do I make these agents talking to that UI? And then finally, we need to have a memory, knowledge graphs, and being able to share context between the agents. And for that, there's something called MEM0 that is actually coming the way. And finally, I would say that like many of these applications are just going to change, and they're going to become autonomous in the future.
Thank you. Tudor, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, MEM0 is a good thing. So look here, when it comes to the future, far away and close by. So I think talk about the trust, AI, human, or human in the loop. I think the future is collaboration. And I mentioned in the beginning, the AI being in the history of AI, human collaboration. I think the human AI collaboration is the future in terms of AI and what's going on around. But what will happen, in my opinion, is I'm inventing right now the grill effect. So I think the way a few years ago, everybody was talking about Internet of Things, IT. I think we're going to have Internet of Agents. I think, or agents everywhere. I really see the agents going everywhere because as I said and we said, agents can control tools. So those tools can be reading files, connecting with internet, doing this, doing that. But as well, they can control grills. They can control devices around you and in the house. So those devices can talk and communicate between them. So I think the big next step, and it's in line with what you say, with the protocol between them, I think this is the next thing, will be Internet of Agents or agents everywhere. I think we will live and we'll see. I can't wait to see
I love
it,
that,
yeah.
Internet of Agents. Yes, that's the new term. Sean, how about you?
Yeah, no, I think Fatih and Tudor have covered off most of sort of what's happening in the future. The only thing I would add is that I do think that human intervention or human sort of oversight is critical, and that is going to remain. I don't think that's going anywhere because back to the grill, you've got to, you have to be able to know if there's something going wrong or how to fix the issue. And redefine the boundaries within which that grill or that bot is operating. So I think human intervention and human oversight is critical.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I say something? The agent will never be able to eat the kitchen. So.
You may have robots eating. That's right.
I have three things to share for the future. First thing is, with agents everywhere, you really need to have parents or adults in the room. That means all those agents, future agents, even they can talk to each other, they can work on your behalf, but you do need the governance and structure and operation process. That's where the AI ops or Gen AI ops or ML ops, whatever that term in your company means, need to be well designed. It's not going to be the traditional way. It will be the new mindset and new paradigm. The second is the business. Gradually, when the agents getting more mature, just like large language model today, become a commodity. Agents near future, very soon, becoming commodity. You don't spend too much money to build agents anymore. It is the people who use those agents, the solution you build today. The VPs, AVPs, directors, managers on that line of business will need to be the front line who understand that. In that gets me my third point, to get to the microwave analogy. You don't need to understand the microwave. I want to have a quick survey. We all have microwaves at home. When you push the button, open the door, you put the food, want to heat it. Where you put it? Some people put it in the middle. Some people put a little bit on the side. The people who put the middle, please raise your hand. Yeah, about 40%.
Yeah.
People on the side. Thank you, about 30%. We still have people undecided. Here is the reason why you really need how the process was made. For microwave machine, especially the turning ones, they have four sources, be it the microwaves to heat. When those waves, especially the equal energy, they got canceled each other in the middle. So that means in the middle is the least place you want to really make your food warm. The reason it's turning because on the side move around so that the one wasn't heated at the moment can be heated at a different time. So that's the reason the trust and the efficiency is getting to the literacy of data literacy, AI literacy, technology literacy of every single user in your company. That means every single employee, from the CEO, from SVP, AVP, and director, manager, front employee, they need to be educated. That's the literacy important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that was absolutely brilliant. Okay, we do have time for one question. I know these sessions are short, and I wish they were much, much longer. I think we can talk about agentic AI throughout, but we have a question in the audience.
Hi, thank you very much for a very insightful talk. My name is Nicole, and I'm from York Region. I actually do have 2 questions, but I'll just ask one. So I have a very strategic question, which is how can the leaders of the organization can restructure data team to support agentic capabilities without creating additional friction or silos across department?
Thank you. Who would like to take that?
How about this? I take this.
Perfect.
And the answer is, in general, you don't change your org structure based on technology. It's the other way. Technology need to fit into your business structure. In this case, I assume you mentioned it's not just technology itself. It's the need, the transformation with the new technology has enabled the business, the company or organization can do things better, meet the clients, customer better. In that case, it is the alignment of value, always the value, that kind of either business value or service value. That's the fundamental start of you want to restructure your organization. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's also important to reskill many of the employees and ensure that they are literate in terms of doing the AI engineering, because many of the applications that we're going to be building, they're not going to be deterministic. They're not going to be purely just coded. We don't need to define all the rules. Instead, we will need to use applications and build applications that they can leverage agentic approaches. How do you ensure that you have the team that can understand the business and can engineer products that are going to bring the most value? It's something that we need to do as organizations. Otherwise, the technology and the architecture would not decide for the structure. I agree with Eugene, but the reskilling is important. So everyone needs to be in there. And lastly, for everyone, we can build now. Anyone can build. So let's go and actually build things. And let's accelerate this whole revolution.
Perfect, yes.
Oh, small thing.
Yeah, of course.
I'm in line, but when you come to talk about the organization, it's probably a good thing to start is to build, I would say, quote unquote, center of excellence about your data team, maybe about your analytics team. This is one thing. And secondly, which is important, is to create friends. So people who will, in other departments, people who understand this technology, who'd love or like to test it there and not be afraid about 10% error. So this can be done through networking, through education, conferences, micro conferences inside the company, to build this kind of friends, so to speak, AI friends.
Love that. Okay, well, thank you so much, and thank you for all your insights and stories today. Let's give our panelists a big round of applause.